So let's talk about distributions and a preferred return and the difference between the operating cash flow that comes off a business that you invest in and the economic rights of a preferred return. This is one of the most confused, I think, investment parts of an LP's journey out there. And I want to make sure that you understand it. And we want to make sure that you're well educated in the difference between the two things. Now, for the purposes of this module, I actually have a real live offering memorandum that we've used for one of our investors. And most of our offering memorandums are pretty much exactly the same. So if you have a chance, we'll have that PDF in the document here in the module, so you can open that up and you can follow along. So I'm on PDF page 4 of this offering memorandum for the Pacific Northwest Trio, a deal that we did back in 2024. And as you can see, an investor that puts in $100,000 on page 4, PDF page 4, you'll see that they're going to get Class A. And the very first thing that is in their waterfall is a 6% preferred return. Now, investors often think that that's what their cash flow is going to be, and that is simply not true. It means that that is your economic right to the cash flow that's generated from this investment. And there's a lot of details that go into that, but put simply, if you put in $100,000, you should expect that $6,000 or 6% per annum per annual return is your economic right in the investment, meaning that if that investment produced $6,000 in a year, that you would be given that money. However, what it doesn't do is it doesn't guarantee that the investment will actually produce 6%. And it doesn't mean you're going to be receiving 6%. It just means that that is your economic rights to the cash flow this investment produces. Now, if you skip to the next page, on page 5, you'll see at the very top column, there is a breakdown of the expected distributions that the investment will actually produce. So you can see in year 1, we put 3%. So on a $100,000 investment, the investor will receive roughly $3,000 and $3,037 in that first year. So again, they have a 6% preferred return, but only get 3% cash flow. So that's the difference. Now, the delta between the two, the $3,000 that they did not receive, that is owed back to the investors as an economic right, not a loan or a guarantee, but just an economic right. If the investment in the future produced that income, they would get that made up for from year 1 only being 3% versus 6%. So like always, whenever you invest in anybody's deal, make sure that the preferred return is well understood and make sure that the projections of cash flow are understood, because operating distributions from a business is actually how cash is generated for your investor returns. So I hope this helped clarify some of the confusion between operating cash flow that is distributed to the investors versus economic rights that are granted through a preferred return. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.